Welcome into another edition of our Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. I'm Nick Petraccione, joined as always by our Hogville football insider, Otis Kirk. Otis, thank you for taking a Sunday with us.
Oh, thanks for having me on here, man. It's always good.
It's been a busy weekend, as you know. Let's first start off by one of the biggest pieces of news was Arkansas getting a new commitment on Saturday from three-star linebacker Jordan Crook, and you're really high on Crook.
Oh, yeah. We had him on here last week, and we knew he was going to be a Razorback, but he wanted to announce it. And it's all, I always say it's the kid's day. It's not my day. So we let Jordan come on last Sunday and just talk about his recruiting, knowing that he was going to commit to Arkansas publicly this Saturday. But, yeah, I love the kid. I mean, I talked to him Friday before he left. I called him. We were talking. Well, we were texting when he said, call me. And so I called him, and he was, we were talking about the situation up here this weekend, this week. And he was, talking. I said, man, be careful driving up here because I don't need any more of these phone calls. But anyway, no, he's great kid, great player. One thing about Jordan Crook and a lot of these kids, I say virtually all the kids that Sam Pittman and his staff are getting, they're all good kids. They've got talent. They got, let's be honest, they've got talent in Arkansas, and 28 schools wouldn't be offering these kids. So they got talent. Let's start with that. But there's kids got talent that you really don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. That's not the case with these guys that Sam's recruiting and that staff. They're very good kids from good homes, and you can make some mistakes doing that, but boy, you sure cut down on the odds of being a mistake when you recruit good kids who can play. I mean, I remember, I think with Brett Bielema used to say, you recruit your problems, and there's some truth to that, but it was good to see Jordan jump on board. He's going to come in at midterm. Boy, he's just a kid that can run, he can hit, he's very physical. I told this story last week. I probably told it before, but Nick, I was watching film last spring of some linebackers because I didn't know who Arkansas was going to sign, and I watched a kid out of Carthage, Texas, who was teammates with Takese Crawford. And then I watched Jordan Crook, and when I watched Crook, I thought, God, man, that kid could play. Well, then he commits to Oklahoma State, so I kind of, thought, well, I guess that's over with. But then he pops up and visits here, and then obviously he committed to Arkansas. And I know Michael Shearer was the main reason he committed to Arkansas, the linebacker coach over. He's done a great job, and not just with Jordan, but Manny Powell and Caden Henley. They're all and both those kids are the same way. They're great kids, great players from great families, and so I like that linebacker class. I really do like it. And Crook was he was a nice icing on the top there, a little cherry on the top there with that class. I mean, nice way to get your third linebacker. He can flat play. And I believe off the top of my head, that's the first commitment from Texas they've got. But they've gone into Detroit, they've gone into Ohio, they've gone into Wisconsin. They've gone some places, got some kids that they know, South Carolina even, that they normally don't get players. And Arkansas's got a pretty strong class in 2022, pretty strong crop. They're probably end up with 2 or 3 more kids in Arkansas than they normally would sign from the state, simply because it's a good class.
And Sam Pittman and that crew, extremely good at recruiting. You mentioned Crook decommitting to Oklahoma State. He had offers from all over the place, Michigan, Baylor. I mean, you name it, Illinois, if you want to talk Brett Bielema. I mean, this kid was a highly touted recruit. So Sam Pittman landing a big one on Saturday with Jordan Crook. Now, here's another target, Otis, that they're looking at, and is Shamar Easter, 2023, but a really good tight end.
Yeah, he was the first kid in Arkansas in 2023 that Sam Pittman offered. He offered him back on April 6th of 2020, not 2021, but 2020. And he was, this kid's thing about, let me tell you something about Shamar Easter. He's a really good kid too, but he's 6'6", 215, maybe 6'5". I mean, he's tall. But not only is he a great football player, 4-star, he's also all-conference basketball, and they went to some track meets, and he was the top point he top point getter at the track meets, and he was from, in track. So we're talking about a kid, sophomore, that was all conference in basketball, football, and one of the top track stars in the state. So he's a total package, and Dow Loggins is doing a good job on him. He's got Penn State, Arizona State, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Michigan State, Auburn, Florida State, Texas A&M, Kansas, Louisiana Monroe, New Mexico. I mean, he's got some offers, and they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. He's going to,
especially as a sophomore. 4-star as a sophomore at that height, and then you add that speed in as well. I mean,
athleticism, playing basketball, not just playing, but making all conference. You have to be pretty good to make all conference in a sport, especially basketball as a sophomore, because they're usually, I'll say it, they're usually reluctant to give it to a sophomore. They usually try to give it to an upperclassman, thinking, hey, that sophomore will get it next year when he's a junior. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's bad to say the people that vote for that and stuff or choose that, but it just shows you what kind of athlete he is. But I think Arkansas is in pretty good shape with him. He was up here June the 26th, Nick. I believe that was the date for an unofficial visit then. It was right after the last camp. The last camp, that elite camp, was on a Friday, and he came on that Saturday, and I'm almost certain it was June the 26th is the date. But anyway, last Saturday in June, he was here for an unofficial visit, and then he comes back yesterday. So that shows you the interest that he has in Arkansas. Dale's done a good job recruiting that tight end room, and he had some help from Cody Kennedy there. Cody laid all the groundwork and had everything in place, and then Dow came in when Cody Kennedy shifted to offensive line, and they've really, and that was a position that they needed to fill the room. I mean, they had to get some more commitments coming in, and they've got 2 in this 2021 class, or 2022 class. I'm sorry, but yeah, he from Ashdown. They've got a couple of kids from Ashdown on the football team over there, and if they can get him, they might be 3.
Shamar Easter, that's one to keep a watch on. I mean, it's 2023, so it's kind of in the back of your mind, but that's one that, oh boy, that could be a huge get, because you're right. Those letters are not going to be stopped shipping to his house anytime soon.
No, he's got, I don't know, whatever that was, 11 or 12 offers I just read off, and he's going to get more. I mean, if he wanted to take that thing out to his senior year, he'd probably end up with 30 offers. I mean, because some people may be a little hesitant to offer because they may have not got him in a camp or something because of COVID last year. Last summer was a wasted summer for recruiting, pretty much for the college. I mean, in the sense of seeing kids on campus and stuff, not wasted because you could watch video and you could do Zoom, but to have that many offers as a sophomore, and considering last year they didn't get to go out and see them and they didn't get to go to camp, that really is incredible. But it's going to keep getting higher until he makes a decision. I think Arkansas is in pretty good shape there. We'll just have to see, though. It could change, but I like Arkansas's chances.
We'll keep an eye on Easter's situation. Now, there was a big event this weekend, Otis, a cookout over there, Arkansas football, and they were getting to work there as well. Joey Sua, they gave him an offer during that cookout. What can you tell us about Joey Sua?
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I'm proud his mom has to feed him instead of me. He's 6'6", 350. I bet that kid can pack that food. He can throw that food back. But no. I meant to go see him this week, and then I had an issue come up that we've talked about. But I really want to get up there and talk to him and see him and everything. Maybe get him on this TV show. But he's 2023. He moved to Bentonville, I want to say in the middle of July sometime, just recently. He played in California, moved to Bentonville, and he's going to be on the Tigers up there. He'll be at Bentonville High, not Bentonville West, Bentonville Tigers. And he's got offers. Arkansas offered him. And by the way, Crook and the tight end were both at the Easter, were both at the cookout as well yesterday, the picker. But yeah, Joey was there. He picked up an offer from Arkansas. He already had offers to UCA, BYU, Fresno State, Morgan State, Michigan State, Oregon, Georgia, Maryland. So you can see he's starting to get offers too, you know. And you're talking about a kid 6'6", 315, not 215, 315. And I mean, got the size. He's a good ball player. If you've watched his video, if anybody's watched his video, they will see that this kid's good. He's another one in that 2023 that Arkansas has offered in the state that's going to continue to get offers. He's what you're looking for in an offensive lineman. He's got the height, got the size, and you know he's only going to get better on the field. And Bentonville's got some very good football coaches. That high school up there, those kids are very well coached at Bentonville. I'm not saying other schools aren't, but I mean, you can watch those Bentonville kids and those teams, they're very well coached. So he'll get some good coaching up at Bentonville. And so we'll see how that works out as far as Arkansas, him being just moving here from California, you know, but it's going to be he's going to be an interesting recruiting deal to watch. And I'd love to get him on here and talk to him, you know, let's talk to him about that, because let him tell his story, because you come from California where Arkansas recruits some, but not that much, to Arkansas where you're definitely going to be getting and like I said, Arkansas jumped right on that offer yesterday, and a chance to offer him, and I figured they would. Well, they were going to offer him. It was just a matter probably when they wanted to get him. That was the first chance to get him on campus since you had the coaches had been on vacation. You had SEC media days. Sam was gone and stuff. So this was their first chance and probably the last really big chance. Well, not probably. It definitely the last big chance to get kids on campus before the season starts, because they report this week. This coming week, the Arkansas players will report and then start practicing. And so, man, it's going to start that season up, you know. So, but then Bentonville will be getting their season started. But Joey's somebody I'm definitely going to go see play early. I'm anxious to see him. But if you watch this film, you'll see he's a very good player. He's another one I can say the same thing about. He's going to get a lot of offers.
Yeah, he has an open invitation on this show if he ever wants to come on. Joey Sue is always welcome, and especially he's, like you said, that size is bigger than most people they have on the roster right now. We talk about some commits, some recruits, but there's two big ones, obviously, that are already in Arkansas, but they were at the cookout, Andrew Chamblin and Marion Harris, a duo out of Little Rock. What's the news on those two?
Well, they're calling them the Little Rock Towers. And the biggest smile over there was Cody Kennedy. I mean, I wasn't over there, but you can see on Twitter, Cody tweeted out they tweeted out a picture. Cody is standing in the middle. You got Marion Harris on one side of him, Andrew Chamblin on the other. And you can see, I mean, he called them Little Rock Towers. Marion is from Joe T. Robinson. I went down for his commitment. In fact, I went down for Andrew Chamblin's commitment ceremony from Maumelle too. So I went down for both those kids' commitment ceremonies and little programs they had. And I tell you what, like I said, Cody Kennedy had a big smile on his face because he's thinking, man, I got these guys for 3, 4, 5 years. You know, I mean, and hey, not just are they big, I don't even know what Harris weighs. I mean, I've heard 370. I've heard 330. He is a huge kid. I'm telling you, man. He plays both ways. We're not talking about a kid that's, you know, hey, he's lazy. He's going to play. He plays both ways in high school. And Chamblin, man, I mean, boy, he is just – Chamblin looks like somebody – every time I see Andrew, I think of somebody who's been in the NFL program. I've been in the NFL team for about 2 or 3 years. He's got that flat belly. He's about 6'7", 300, 310, whatever. But, man, he looks like – I mean, I doubt Chamblin has an ounce of fat on him. I mean, he's got the body, he's got the look. He just looks like somebody. If you just saw him, you think, man, I bet that guy's in the NFL, you know, or the NBA even, you know, if you didn't know he played football. But Marion, like I said, now he's going to lose some of that weight when they get out there into it, you know, practicing in the heat. And then he, like I said, he plays both ways, so there's no breaks there. But yeah, Cody got a commitment from both of those kids. They committed when Brad Davis was here. In fairness to Brad, he was the coach that got them to commit. But Cody's picked right up where they left off. And I will say that Brad Davis called those kids and told them, you need to stick with your commitment to Arkansas and Coach Pittman. So class act they're doing that. So yeah, so they're solid, and they're both. And there again, I'm gonna say that. And Marion's dad played here, Nick. Elliot Harris played at Arkansas, and I knew him. Wrote about Nick, Elliot. He was from, I want to say he was from, he wasn't from Little Rock. He was from another little town. I keep Mariana. Yeah, Mariana is where Elliot was from. I was wanting to say Marion. I knew that wasn't right, so I wasn't going to say Marion. It was Mariana, and he was from there. And then, of course, Chamblin. Both of them kids have great families. Mr. Chamblin had a tough battle with COVID after Andrew's official visit up here, but prayers were answered, and he's back home and doing a lot better. But both those kids it's just like I said about Crook, and like I've said about Henley and Courtney and all of them that we've had. They're great families, great kids. You love to see that, and it's really impressive. And Arkansas is getting some good football players, but those two kids, they're not just good. They're big, and they're ready, and they're talented, man. I mean, they're the total packages, both those kids. Nick Saban offered Marion Harris in the 9th grade. I know you weren't down here then, but Nick Saban offered Marion Harris in the 9th grade. That's all you need to know right there.
If there's one thing, the theme that's running through this Arkansas football recruiting report this week, it's that you can't teach size. That's the one thing. They're loading up on size. And even Jordan Crook, he's a linebacker, but you look at him and he's got that look of a linebacker.
He's solid 225 pounds. I mean, you think of guys like Mike Singletary, and even here Bert Zinneman and Samuel Jabutu, kids that weren't real tall that were great linebackers, and now Singletary played better. I know that, but I'm just saying guys that maybe weren't that tall that were great linebackers. And Jordan Crook's a great one, and he's not as tall as Manny Powell and Caden Henley, but he all three of those kids can play.
Yeah, solid as a rock, that's for sure. Yeah. Solid as a rock.
Sam Pittman's the reason you're talking about big kids. He doesn't believe in getting these kids to lose weight and and be like they were when he got here. He couldn't believe it. You got to have size in the SEC because you're going against size, so you've got to have size. You're not going against 220 pounders in the SEC. You're going against size to combat that. You've got to have, to offset that, you've got to have size too. Sam knows that, and that's the value of hiring someone like Sam Pittman, who is experienced and knowledgeable of the SEC. You get someone that's been in a smaller conference, they don't realize that. Sam's doing a great job here at Arkansas with all of his assistants.
It'll be exciting to see if they can get Easter, if they can get Sua and get some more size on their team. This wraps up our Arkansas football recruiting report. Thank you, Otis, as always, for joining us. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.